meeting of the General Government and Public Safety Committee to order. I know attendance has been taken, although it doesn't show it. Would you rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance with me? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Comments from citizens? Hearing none. Public Safety, Police Department activity reports in your packet. Bob, what is a seatbelt warrant?
A seatbelt warrant. There are municipalities that will write seatbelt tickets and issue warrants if people show up in court for their $10 seatbelt.
Wow. Okay.
It's usually more of a failure to appear warrant.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
saw
it's
it.
still $10.
Charge.
Okay.
It's $10 by state law. They can't get charged any more than that.
But they don't show or don't pay, and then, wow.
And, you know, it does say at the top of it, you are commanded to take into custody and you know, once we give the guy $10 to tell him to go on his way.
Exactly. You gotta pay court costs and all that.
Right.
No, there is no court cost on seatbelt tickets.
Unless they failure to appear.
No, there is no court cost on seatbelt tickets,
That's
period.
it? Wow, okay,
Period.
Thanks. Just curious. Any questions on the activity report, comments? Bob, do you have anything?
Did you want me to bring that up?
Sure,
Okay.
that'd be fine.
We talked about 2 months ago-ish or so about the East Central Missouri Drug Task Force. That has come up again. I'd like to finish that conversation. I know we can't do anything until full council, but talking to the folks, one of the questions I had from Heather was, when does the contract start? Contract actually runs the state's fiscal year from July 1. If we chose to join the East Central Missouri Drug Task Force, all they require is, one, if you all would permit me to sign a memorandum of understanding with them, they would start working almost immediately after we get the contract signed and we're accepted by the task force's board. Our payment of the $5,000 would not be due until July 1 of 2019. So the fact, kind of like getting some free months in there. But like I said, I still highly recommend it because, like I said, the names cross over all over. Between Audrain, Monroe, Boone, they even go into Cooper County, this and that. Like I said, they've got a lot more resources than what we do. And if you don't think there's a drug problem in Centralia, then you've been hiding under a rock. So, like I said, I just want you all to consider that. If you talk about it more, that's fine. If you have questions, I'll try and answer them best I can.
Your mind is not possible.
I agree.
That was part of our concern, was it wasn't in the budget, so we're trying to find that money in the budget. Possibly within public safety sales tax money, we would have been able to do it, but if we can hold up, go ahead and enter into an agreement with them now, and then we won't owe them until, we'll get a few months free, and then
Yeah, no, that's great.
we can budget it for the next year. And, I'll check with Sydney to see if we would need, I think we need an official authorization to allow them to sign a memorandum of understanding, so we can bring that back next week.
Anything else, Bob?
No, sir, that is good.
Does anyone else have something for the police department?
I'll bring it up now, and
Okay.
it can be any time, but, we've been talking to Socket about switching our telephone service. Just wanted to let you guys know that we might be bringing back a contract next week to switch services. We can save about $100 a month for each department. And so we asked them to give us a price for, the fire and the street electric and water.
Yeah, I don't have those numbers back yet. He's supposed to get those back to me this week. Let me elaborate just a little bit. Currently, Charter, we've experienced problems in the past, not recently, but in the past, their phone service drops out for whatever reason. Somebody cuts a cable down in Timbuktu, I don't know. But the thing about Socket is they've got backups in place. I've I've been assured that if both of their backups get cut, there's something really wrong going on. And as you know, City Hall, Police Department without phone service is a bad thing. But Socket has assured us that the service will be better and it is considerably cheaper. So, like I said, just
Are they gonna feed that through the new fiber line they're supposed to be installing?
correct.
Or a second?
Actually, the lines are already run even over the police department. They ran them because we had been talking about this when they were running the new Cat 5 over.
Right.
They went ahead and ran them anyway.
Okay.
So, like I said, the lines are already run, we're just waiting on them.
Okay. So they're already up in the network closet then?
Yes, sir.
Good.
They had a big roll out at City Hall this afternoon, so
Okay.
they're still working on it.
Yep.
Anything else? Fire department, activity reports in your packet? Want to point out anything in particular?
Nothing, like I say,
Same old, same old?
talking about how long we're doing our, trip, December's our Christmas thing, so we're working towards getting all the candies gathered up and this and that, and figuring out things. Hopefully it'll be 70 degrees.
Yeah.
That's your basic falls, difficulty breathing, smoke alarm, stuff like that.
Difficulty breathing, do you see going up when people are burning the leaves and things like that?
That's not it. It's from probably, well, they don't have a report, it's probably from smoking or overweight or something like that, it's not from,
You know, we're getting in.
When you do, be stuffing the bags for back home?
So, is it 20th on the Thursday?
20th.
Yeah, Thursday, yeah, then it'd be, not just Thursday night, I think, Thursday.
Okay.
1,400 of them we're gonna do this year.
All right.
We've got everything but the oranges from FFA, and I think they were supposed to come in this week, so.
Starting at 6, 5:30, 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mass confusion.
Yep. All right.
Anything else for fire department?
Still working on our building, I will say, our little storage room there in the back. Get ready to insulate it, and we're gaining on it.
Okay.
Closer than we've ever been.
We're gaining on it.
Emergency management. Nothing. Protective inspection. Right, general government finance, economic development. Looks like there's an email from Jenny at the chamber.
Mhm.
Is there changing any tomorrow?
No, there's no meeting tomorrow. And the last meeting, we had 2 people at, so we didn't really do much.
Understood. Park board. Agenda's in your packet. Meeting minutes in your packet. Any questions, comments? Cemetery report, I assume there is none?
No,
Okay, same with tree board,
correct.
library board, meeting minutes are in your packet.
I did receive an email from Amy Hopkins, and they still have that library debt service account. It has $10,800 or so in it, and they may be requesting the use of those funds for some renovations of the library. I think it was new carpet maybe, but
November 2018 financial statements, that information's in your packet. Anything you want to point out, Heather?
not really. I mean, we're starting to receive tax payments, so those will increase our general fund revenues quite a bit.
Have we determined yet how CNR rating has impacted our taxes?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
I haven't seen a huge decrease.
All right.
comments, questions? Moving on to bills over $1,250, it's on page, it's the last page. 59. The CDW entries for the patrol cars, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
There is a payment in here for ESP as a progress number 3 payment. We've been holding off paying that because we thought it was the final payment. And the lights are still not completely finished, but that it is not. There will still be one more payment after that. So we did go ahead and pay this progress 3 payment for the work that had been done.
When are they supposed to finish them lights?
Gonna try to be here by the end of the year, or end of the month, however you wanna say it, but they should be here pretty quick. I actually told her to hear from today, because, they haven't got, what, 28 more lights that they're gonna do right in there.
Noticed, the other day when I was driving into town, the one right in front of the old fireside guard building was blinking and blinking, and it went out, so.
We fixed it.
What's that?
We fixed it.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Jeff's waiting on replacements, he's supposed to supply us with some stock material, and we haven't got that yet either, so hopefully they're bringing that when they come in.
What's that Dobbs tire or whatever? What's it?
Tires,
That's-
it's 2 different things. Tires for
Street department,
street department.
I can't remember what vehicle it,
It's a mini dump, I believe.
I
It
think
was
it
on
is
a
right.
mini dump.
It's street
Right.
department and police department. That's what it is.
The Spectrum business, so I assume after the dust settles from all the socket stuff, the phone internet entry would be gone. We have cable TV where?
The rec center.
Okay. So that would really be the only portion of the bill left, then?
Unless the rec center decides not to switch over to socket for their phone service as well.
Okay.
That'll be their decision. We did talk to them about that, but
Did you, ask the library also?
I did not, I can.
Okay. I mean, if it's saving us money, it might save them money too.
I don't know who their current phone service was through.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Any other questions on the bills? Any other general government? I believe we're moving the closed session to the second meeting. Any as may arise?
Yeah, one thing, I handed out a application for a firefighter. Talked with Danny about it this morning, and, I don't know if there's no objections, we'll probably make that appointment next Monday. So. His name's, Andrew Power. He's currently on the county fire department,
I mean, his brother is Tim that's on the department now.
he's taking his, EMT classes, so.
Any other as may arise? And motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn. Is there a second? A motion to adjourn, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, we stand adjourned. Thank you, James.
No reason to run out of here.
Huh?
No reason to run out of here.
Oh, it's probably gonna get boring here now. I'll watch the video.
You can use the software to split.
That's okay, you don't have to.
Let's see, you can use the software to split.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. A little quick meeting. Thank you.
Okay, I'll call the Public Works and Public Utilities Committee meeting to order. Attendance hasn't changed. Comments from citizens, and still no citizens. Moving on to Water and Sewer Department, there's the activity report in your packet. Pat, anything you want to highlight on that?
We did, myself and Mike had a meeting with Bartlett West to go over the water treatment, plans for the plants. Kind of the final go over, and make sure we're checking everything off that we need to be checked off. I think they sent that to DNR, didn't they?
It has been submitted, and it's out for review right now.
Also, we are doing the fire line at the Narragansett building tomorrow morning, trying to get it capped off, so we got it dug out and located this morning. Hopefully everything shuts down and we can get that cut out of there, capped, so that's not holding anything up later on.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions about the activity report? Moving on, anything for water or sewer?
I do, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We sold the backhoe, 2007 backhoe that we replaced, for $29,000. We had to reserve at 15,000 or so.
17.
15 or 17.
I think we got it at the last minute.
And they paid for it this morning and picked it up this afternoon, so it's gone.
Who bought it?
Don Fader from Mexico.
Takes up with the water plant and was heading for South Carolina with it on the back of the trailer, so.
Wow.
Also, I didn't put that in there, but Cody Rickles passed his water treatment, DNR test, so we did get that accomplished.
Under other, discussion regarding the increase in tap fees for water and sewer.
This is something that, kind of discussed for a while, just, department heads, but the tap fees that we currently charge for water and sewer are minimal compared to the actual work that goes into that. We charge $250 for water and $100 for sewer. So Mike has a little bit better idea of what that actually cost.
I had figured this from Matt when he was here, and just to do, say, 15 foot of copper line on the same side of the road, and just basic, everything you're gonna need to do, a tap, set the meter jar and everything, was $730 some. And I know in checking around different towns, 750 is not an uncommon number. And on water districts, they either go from about 500 all the way up to 16 or 1750 outside here, if they have to go across the road. So I think we need to get it up to at least the 750 just to cover it. And I'd like to later on look at discussing about putting a water line in any new subdivisions. We will still put them in, but that ought to be the contractors to do. We'll talk about that later, but I think we're about to that point. Most towns are doing that now. The tap fees are too low. They're not covering what the guys are doing, even if everything goes super smooth and they're,
Bringing a loss.
yeah. So it's time to updo them.
Yeah, I think
I
we
can
should
buy
make
that.
one.
Can we, kind of make those retroactive for the last 3 years?
It'd be nice, but
So we'd really just like discussion on this tonight. If you want to move forward with it, we can bring it back to me next Monday. Well, it's really, obviously it's the board's decision,
If you're
but
gonna do it, should you just do it January 1st, or does it matter?
we can make it effective January 1st.
Make it effective whatever we want.
Yeah.
What does Columbia charge for theirs, do you know?
I was thinking, I thought it was 650 or 700, I can't remember.
I think Hallsville's closer to, Hallsville's real close to 1,000 for a tap.
But Hallsville also has to buy water from District 4.
Right. So how much does it cost if we have to cross the street?
You're adding rock to get over there, concrete to do back, so you're gonna be over 1,000, probably 1,200. Pretty easy.
Is our
Price of concrete right now, real easy.
Is our current price structure two-tiered like that, or not?
No.
No, there's one
It's just a
right
flat fee.
Yeah.
And I think we need to look at a two-tier, if you gotta go under.
there. Well, either two-tier or, so the price is somewhere in the middle, so that you, some people are paying more than what it costs, some are paying less.
That would be a lot easier for, the front office, just because they're not necessarily gonna know if they're gonna have to go, across the road or not. Yeah.
Or we could just tell them that if they're across the street, they just have to run their own water line.
I know the water district has a two-tiered
Yeah,
fee.
yeah. Most of the water districts do for that reason.
I mean, it's kind of a pain to figure it, because you gotta figure out where the water line is and everything else. They can do it, it just takes more time. If you set one, fee that's somewhere in the middle, figuring that half the people are gonna be on one side and half are on the other, and generally it's gonna work out about 50-50. You're gonna cover your cost too.
So do we have an estimate on if we have to go across the road? Do we have that estimate yet?
But get it real quick. See what the average roads are and just figure it across there. We know we're gonna end up 9 foot off the back of the curve. I mean, that's standard now, so. It'd be easy
That's a
to
bigger
figure.
location, 9 foot off the curb is a meter.
Yeah. That gets behind the sidewalk. We've always did that.
There's Columbia's tap fees for in the city limits.
1,062 for a 3/4 line. So we don't do anything for different size mains. We've
Right.
never done that. We don't have that much variation than 3/4. I mean, occasional 1 inch, but,
Well, anything above that's gonna be business, and that's gonna be, is
Yeah.
that a separate fee?
well, yeah, they have a higher meter charge and stuff
Okay.
per month.
I, look at setting the fee somewhere halfway between the two.
I'll figure it going both ways, and then she can have that next week for you, if that'll work.
I'd support what Don
Yeah.
said.
Okay.
I think that's good.
I mean, it makes it simple.
But we don't want, it shouldn't be money making, but we can't be taking a loss on everything.
Yeah, right.
We can't balance our budget that way.
Everybody good to move on? Moving on to the electric department. Your activity report. Jeff, anything you wanna highlight on there?
No, not really. I mean, a lot of these light issues, we really can't do much with them because I don't have anything to do anything with. Hopefully these guys will get my stock in. I did get a few bulbs in today that I just went ahead and ordered. So, you know, it's either going, right now, it's either gonna be a bulb or a blown fuse. Between the fixture itself, all the ballast and all the things inside that fixture are no longer in the equation. It's all bypassed now, so hopefully that will lower the maintenance on everything too. But, no, I mean, that's, I don't really have any.
Do you feel like we have an excessive amount of bulk failures?
Well, just like today, the one on the west side of the old guard office was one that we put in about 5 years ago.
Oh, okay, it wasn't one that
And the one on the north side of the guard office just wasn't screwed in.
Are those LEDs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the corn cob LEDs, yeah. So we just screwed it in, it wasn't screwed in. I don't know how it was working, then it quit, and they made about 5 turns with it
Wow.
today to screw it back into the socket, and it was working tonight when I drove by it.
Is there a ghost in the old guard building? Is there a
Yeah.
ghost in the old guard building?
It's there, tree trimmers are still plugging away. But it gets this time of year, it's kinda cold, we shutting people off for 4 hours. You know,
Are they close to finishing?
no, they still got quite a bit to do really.
I'm hoping with this warm week, they're gonna get in here and
Yeah,
try to get after it a little bit.
it would be possible to shut somebody off for 3 or 4 hours in the morning if they really needed to be off.
Right.
No, we got rid of all the old Christmas decorations. Well, they're not, we haven't gotten rid of them, but that's up to the chamber and,
She's got that.
but we do have all new Christmas decorations now.
Christmas decorations are those random papers.
Anybody else have any more for an activity report? Jeff, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you
Moving on to generation and purchase. There's a memo in there for you.
No, there's a memo, it really condenses the amount of information I've been getting, but a lot of it said not for public, so I just wanted to make sure I didn't put too much out here that was not for public information. The long and short of it is, next year is offered to extend our contract through 2030. If we so choose, Bob Harbor put together an RFP for, just to see what other people were offering as well. MPUA did submit a proposal, and they came out quite a bit higher than NextEra. So our energy costs would be actually going down from years 2020 to 2023, and then going back up to what we currently pay now, and it would be set at that. And then all of this energy is in zone 5, which is what we are using. So we wouldn't have to go back out onto the MISO market and sell it, like we've done in the past. So, I mean, it seems like the safe way to play it. Now, we do own some portion of Prairie State, and the long-term goal was to start using the energy that, that we own, essentially, instead of selling it back out onto the market. So MPUA's proposal included that, and it still came out quite a bit higher than us.
So if we lock in until 2030, if the energy price goes down, can we renegotiate?
Probably not. I haven't seen the contract, since the contract is sitting. So,
What percentage are we locking in? Is it 100% or is it
of the cost, yes,
of our use?
Capacity of our usage?
of our capacity. And then we're still paying for our portion of Prairie State and then selling it on the market, so we still have that as well.
So this will be locked in at 100%.
Mhm.
Well,
Normally when I've hedged in the past, it's a much smaller percentage because you never know what the market variations are going to be.
well, you gotta realize, this is a fixed amount that we get per month, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's geared towards basically your summer months, so the rest of the year, you're not using that much. Summer is the peak, winter is your second peak, but it's not as high as what summer is generally. So we've got to have enough to supply everybody and not overrun that, because that's where it starts getting real expensive, because then you got to get it on the spot market, on a daily basis or whatever. But if you don't, if you don't achieve that, capacity, if you achieve that capacity and exceed it, then all of a sudden you're paying a lot of extra money on the spot market on a daily basis. If you don't achieve it, that energy is just not being used, but we're still being charged for it.
I'd be curious if there's a clause in there about if the market changes plus or minus a certain percentage to the pricing to reevaluate. So I mean, that would be to their benefit too.
Yeah.
Yes, I would be curious as to what there is there, or if we're locked in for 2030, if the price suddenly plummets more and stays down, which is a possibility at this point.
Yeah, but
It's happened.
and the price could go the other way and spike, and we're locked in at that lower rate.
Yes. And back in the 90s,
Crapshoot.
we were on the good end of that when the energy prices went up,
Yes.
and we were locked in for a very long period of time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I just need to let Bob Harbor know if we want to kind of continue looking at this. There are 2 other cities that have already committed. We haven't committed, obviously, until we sign the contract and authorize sign the contract, which would be next week. I just need to let him know some sort of a direction.
I mean, I think it's,
Staff have an opinion?
I would much rather play it safe. That's just the way I would rather go, be more conservative. I understand that the prices could go down, but they also could go way up. And so, and we're gonna be paying less from 2020 to 2023. Makes sense to me.
Has Sydney seen it?
I sent her the contract today.
Has she gotten back to you?
Not yet.
The other 2 cities have committed on this already.
two of them have, there's
Two.
4 of us and 2 have. I don't remember offhand which ones
We
have.
need to give them an answer probably by next week.
Yes,
Next Monday evening.
at least by next Monday for sure.
As a general rule, I'm all for it. I would just be curious if there's a market contingency in the contract somewhere.
I'll look into that and see.
I would be curious about the same thing. And I'm, not that I'm opposed to it by any means.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, heck, you know, as a resident here, locking in our prices at a reasonable rate until 2030 kind of sounds nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the market does, I mean, it's not like our bills are that high. So-
Right. All right, well, I'll just get some information and I can email that out
Okay.
before the meeting.
Ready to move on?
Yep.
Anything for distribution? Any other from the Public Works? Activity report?
Phil's caught up with all of his street cuts right now. Everything is done, concreted. You see, we did some for DC's. I think we did almost 90 feet up the alley from Switzer to the south, basically to the back of the DC's building there. It's right by that diesel tank, and it eats that asphalt up. So he's patched, and we tried something different. We did concrete, and it seemed like it went pretty good. DC's offered to pay half of that, so appreciated that. He wanted a good result, and we tried to give him one, so.
He had come in and asked if there was some way we could look at, maybe not even immediately, a more permanent solution, because I do patch it several times a year. It's our responsibility to maintain, it's our alley. So whenever he said he would pay for half, we went ahead and tried to do that more permanent solution there.
All right.
Any other questions or comments about the activity report? Moving on to streets, anything, you have an update on those, man?
They're coming back tomorrow. They tried to do their milling around the edge, and the edge that we were most concerned with was perfect, held up great. They went to the very east edge, where George Leach lives, and that side there, coming around that curve, and basically almost turned the milling machine over and everything. It was so soft, there was no base there whatsoever. They actually broke a little bit of the concrete, which Christian said he would fix. He'll get it taken care of. They had to mill basically from that corner almost to the complete other end down at the entrance there. We checked the price that he gave us, and we're still 10,000 under what he had bid on that. So he's got it all dug out. He's coming back tomorrow to start putting asphalt back in. That'll have everything to a base. Once he gets that good weather long enough, he thinks he can do it, we'll come in and start paving. That's the only thing will be left. But he was pretty excited for the weather to come back up and be able to get back in there tomorrow, so. And along with that, if we can get a week kinda like this, he may start working on Jefferson and Lakeview.
He already is.
That wasn't him.
Oh, wasn't?
No, that's,
Socket.
yeah, they're still digging and boring and going crazy. But they're gonna try to get some of that milled section and get it ready, and then I'm gonna have to get with you on where that pin's at and stuff. But he
They
said-
did say that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, he said he's worked around several of those, so he can get around it, and he'll make sure it stays there.
Thank you for that. Anything for sanitation?
We've had several complaints about them starting earlier than 5 at residential, in residential areas, so we've reminded them again that they cannot start until 5. So that was addressed with them. So if you hear of anything else, please let me know.
Anything for stormwater? Any other?
Oh, yes. So last week, whenever we talked, or a few weeks ago, we talked about Randolph Road, I just wanted to clarify something because I think I was a little confused as well. The option that we went with, it was listed in this memo, 24-foot wide with no curb, and that's correct. just, that does not include gravel shoulders. So that's the option they went with. I just want everybody to know that that is where we were at. And so that's what we were going to tell ES&S to proceed with after our Board of Adjustment meeting, which is set for January 21st. And I talked to Cindy about that. We do have to get 3 consecutive notices in the paper for that meeting. And she would be able to be here for that meeting on January 21st at 6 p.m. The Board of Adjustment has been made aware. And a notice is in the paper, not until the 19th. So. It's Monday. It'll be right before our regular board meeting. It'll be at 6 p.m.
Under other, we have Public Works and Public Utilities Direct Mike's activity report. Anybody, Mike, want to highlight anything, or anybody have questions on Mike's monthly report?
I'll add, on JVS, we meter how much sewage they pump to the lagoon, basically through their water meter. We figure off of that. They've had some problems with blockages, and with that thing sitting there being blocked up, it's just a 3-inch line, it's force main. Because it's sitting there like that, and that float's held up, that meter's just sitting there spinning. So some of the bills that we were sending out were pretty high for what they did, but they went a long time with that. So we're gonna put in, hopefully if the weather's good enough Thursday, Matt's gonna go out and dig it, and we're gonna put in a strap meter. Basically, it's a flow meter that it's kind of like a sonar deal. It reads through, it'll be a lot more accurate. That's what most of the meters for consumption like that are going to. It's environmental, will not affect it. And we're gonna try to help get that done so we can, this has been an ongoing problem out there. They pump out of that boiler plus anything that gets swept in there, so they get a lot of sludge basically that hangs up. And their line is not the straightest, and it does a dip to get their clearance underneath the railroad tracks there, and it's not good. But that's what they got, and that's what we started out with, so that's what we're trying to get fixed up, make it better for them, and give an accurate reading.
Who do we bill?
It's actually the feed mill out there, so they didn't have anywhere to go. They had a little lagoon at one time, and it just wasn't working properly enough for DNRs. So they ran a force main to Highway 22 and along the edge down to where the old landfill was, into a manhole there. So it's quite a ways for a 3-inch line pumping. There's sludge in there, and it pretty stopped up. So.
Item B under other is wage rate study.
It's really just to let you all be aware of it. I talked to, staff, and one of the biggest concerns is the last wage rate study we had was in 2005. We want to stay competitive and we want to stay comparable. So we put together just an employee committee. We looked back and the cost of the last one was about $5,500. Obviously, we don't have that in the budget. So we put together an employee committee with a representative from each department. They are all contributing and getting information from other cities, similar sizes. And we're putting the information together, and hopefully we'll have it to present whenever we start union negotiations. We should have it ready by the end of the year. They're all working very hard on getting information to me.
Are they also meeting what the aldermen get paid in those other cities?
We can ask.
I'm curious to see.
You get points for that.
I'm on the board of the water district, and we forego pay, but they feed us every deal. So, you know, I could get a dinner and a show here all day.
I'm gonna get $51.
Sometimes
I just think when I do the study, they'll probably take money at work.
Any other? David, you want to read us into closed session?
Oh, sure. I make a motion, we go into closed session as provided for under Section 210.0212, leasing, purchasing, or sale of real estate by a governmental body where public knowledge of the transaction might adversely affect the legal consideration thereof.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to go into closed session. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Lee,
Four.
Alderman Hudson,
Yes.
Alderman Wilkins.
4.
Alderman Magley,
Yep.
Alderman Portman,
Yep.
Alderman Rogers.
Four.
Move to closed session.